Years ago, when I first left the U.S. and moved abroad, I had a mentor here who said to me, don't think that you're gonna know what you have to offer here, what you have to offer to people here, until you've let this place change you. And I understand now really what he was talking about was context. To let myself be affected and moved and formed by many of the wonderful things and the hard things about being in this new place. That is when I would understand how to bring who I was, ideals and things that I wanted to offer to my friends or to my work. That is when I would understand better what those would be. So I have a lot of practical examples from over the years, but one in particular stands out from early on. Something I knew from my own context was that if a friend had a baby or had a new child, I wanted to pray for that baby and express God's blessing and love toward that family by praying for their new baby. And that seemed fine and good, and so I would go about doing that as a way to connect with new friends and want to pray for their baby. So there's a really important piece of context that I learned, that when you compliment someone here, especially if it's someone vulnerable, if you compliment verbally, that is very fear-provoking in some cases. They feel that puts that person at risk of damage. And so understanding that piece of context, whether or not I ascribed to it myself, was so important to actually change the way I prayed for people's babies. When they would love on my baby, they would even use words like calling, in the sweetest voice and the sweetest smile, would be looking at the baby and saying, "You ugly little baby, you ugly little thing." And I had to learn that they were actually saying the word ugly, and I was, shocked. But the heart and intent of it was, I'm protecting this baby. I am full of smiles loving this baby, but I'm not saying that it's beautiful because that might bring harm to the baby. So understanding that piece of context changed the way I prayed for people's babies. Instead of saying, what a beautiful, wonderful baby, I would pray for God's protection. I would pray that God's hand would be on their baby. I would focus on those things that really emphasize the fact that God's love and protection was there. I don't think I ever went as far as, God bless this ugly baby, but I modified the way I prayed. It was context. It was the same heart, the same desire, but done in a different way to not provoke something that did not feel like love to them. One really significant piece of context that I've understood here has been the history. And this place has never been under Western domination, has not been colonized, and that is a point of real pride for people here. They've been able to maintain their country and their values and their identity. So when someone like me moves here and comes from a different set of religious experiences, the posture of humility to come in and to express my life in Jesus in a way that doesn't provoke an attitude of religious superiority or some kind of attitude like I've got it all tied up, figured out, a little bow on top, here to say this is the way everything is. It's really not how our life in the gospel works anyway. We every day pursue Him. We every day look for Him, and every day experience Him in ways that may be new to us, may be different from what we already knew, may change the way we understand Him. And that's the course of our lives. And so I think walking in that posture here is probably one of the deepest changes I've undergone to really live in the context in a way that I think expresses the love of Christ. So a posture of walking alongside as we look for Him and find Him in all the ways that He shows up in our life.